Let's welcome our host for It Is What It Is, Annette Ferguson.
A pleasant Thursday evening to each and every one of you joining me, whether home here in Guyana, in the Caribbean, or in North America, Europe, wherever in the world you're joining me. A pleasant Thursday evening. And I want to welcome you to this inaugural program of It Is What It Is. Last week, Thursday, I did say to you that it would have been the last show for Across the Wave because I was actually doing some rebranding of my program. So tonight I'm starting the new brand. It Is What It Is with Annette Ferguson. That being said, I would like to invite you or to encourage you to invite and to share this live stream to all of your friends, your family across the globe. Let them know that the new brand, it is what it is with Annette Ferguson is on here this evening. We have a whole lot to discuss, but in order for you to be educated and sensitized, you have to ensure that you're present and also not to be selfish in any way, wanting the information just for yourself. That is why I've encouraged you to share this live stream. So I will, exit for 60 seconds. Return to start the program proper. So share the live stream.
Let's welcome our host for It Is What It Is, Annette Ferguson.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to It Is What It Is with Annette Ferguson. Viewers, listeners, once again, a pleasant Thursday evening to you. It is March the 10th, 2022. And before I get into the myth of the program here this evening, I wish to, do some small things before. So that being said, I want to extend birth anniversary greetings to those of you who might have celebrated or is celebrating a birthday today, during the course of the week. We'll be doing so over the weekend. A happy birth anniversary to you. And I wish you God's richest blessings for good health, strength, and continued life. Also, for those of you celebrating a wedding anniversary, whether early in the week, today, yesterday, over the weekend, tomorrow. Let me take this opportunity with my team here. It is what it is to extend happy wedding anniversary greetings to you. And I wish God's continuous blessings upon your marriage. May the two grow to love, respect, and cherish each other. Also, I want to extend some, death anniversary, or for want of a better word, extend some condolences, a few condolences to the relatives of Miss Anne Messiah, a former employee of the National Insurance Scheme. Also, she was involved in community work in the area that she resides. That's the border district. She was also an advocate, in politics, in our own little way. She was also a member of the women's arm of the TUC there, the Women Auxiliary Committee, I think it is. Um, Also a member of the Brigham Cathedral. So this earlier today we had the funeral service at the Brigham Cathedral. Tomorrow she will be cremated. So on my own personal behalf and that of my mom and family, we wish to extend our deepest sympathy to the relatives and friends of the late Annette and Messiah. Also, sad announcement to announce the passing of Mr. Arnold Granville, a businessman, a community advocate there in his region. This is region number two. Mr. Granville passed away peacefully, think night before the last. A renowned businessman in the on the execrable coast there. So again, on my personal behalf and that of my colleagues at the People's National Congress Reform, we would like to extend our sincere condolences to Mr. Grenville's sorrowing relatives. Mr. Joseph Holder, a renowned and one of Guyana's finest engineer. Yes, Joseph Holder. He died a few days ago. I think his funeral is expected to be on Saturday at the memorial site there in the cemetery here in Georgetown. Mr. Holder was very much involved in the construction of the Demerara Harbor Bridge, that links the East Bank corridor to Region 3, Region 2, and all the other connected regions that you can use. And that bridge was constructed some 40, about 43 years ago. 43 years ago, and Mr. Holder was very much involved in its construction. It is something that was built by our late founder leader and also Guyana's first executive president, the late Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. You know, many people don't like to hear this particular name, Forbes Sampson Burnham. But we must be able to give credit where credit is due. Many things that are standing around the city of Georgetown or the outskirts of Georgetown was as a result of his involvement. Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham. So, to the sorrowing relatives and friends of the late Joseph Holder, he was also a former employee of the Ministry of Public Works. He was also, I think, after retirement, he was involved in many in consultancy services where he gave, his expertise in many other areas, many other infrastructure here in Guyana. We can also attribute his contributions to them, right? So may their souls rest in peace and may they rise in eternal glory. Thank you very much. Getting out to the way, I also want to take this opportunity in reminding parents, guardians, whoever you are, that continuous registration started on Monday last. This is Monday, March the 2022. And it goes until May the 29th, 2022. So for those young ones who will be 14 years on or before October 2022, they can get registered in this phase. I'm going to repeat for those young people who will attain the age of 14 years on or before October of 2022, they can get registered. So I want to encourage parents teachers, guardians, aunts, uncles, whomever you be, grandparents, please ensure that we get those little ones registered, the eligible ones. Also, for those persons who registered during the house-to-house registration process in 2019. Remember that process ceased sometime in August of 2019. So for those persons who were first time registrants, and you're eligible to be registered, or you were registered, that period of registration, according to GCOM, they have canceled that. So what we have been saying is that for those persons who were registered during 2019 registration, you please ensure you go out and get registered. First time registrants, I'm speaking to. Also, I it is easy. The process is very, very easy, and I'll deal with the process in a few. But for those persons, a married woman who now wants to carry her husband's name, she too, or they too, can get, do the changes during this period. If you've lost your ID card, you can also have the replacement done during this period. If you have moved from one district to another district, you can also do a change, change of address during this period. So all that is required for this entire process for those who are first time registrants is that you just produce your birth certificate or a valid passport. I repeat, a birth certificate or a valid passport. For the married woman, all she has to produce is a copy of her, but she must walk with the original of her marriage certificate, right? So the process is very simple. It will take you less than an hour to complete this entire process. GCOM offices across the country are currently working Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. in the morning to um, um, 18 hours in the evening, or 8 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evenings, Monday to Friday. Saturdays and Sundays, it's from 10 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I repeat, 10 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So please ensure that you visit the offices in your district. For those of you living in Georgetown proper, we have, I think it's about 4 offices, if my memory serves me accurate. You have, for those residing in South Georgetown, where the east, west, north South Georgetown. The office that will service you, the GCOM office that will be servicing you, will be the office on Mandela Avenue. Mandela Avenue, the Transfiguration compound there, where the Transfiguration Church is, opposite KFC or Texaco gas station. So that particular office service South Georgetown. Then you have Sheriff Street, William and Sheriff Street. So persons living within that catchment area, you have that GCOM office there is to your disposal, right? Sheriff and Mandela. Sheriff and William Streets, Georgetown. Then you have on Church Street. This is just opposite the Austin Book Service there. Church Street office. Service they service the North Georgetown area to some extent. The North Georgetown area to some extent. Then you have the Crow Street branch. You know where Metro is? Above Metro there's the other office that can service, persons within that catchment area. So I want to encourage each and every eligible registrant to go out and get registered. I must let you know, and also to remind that we heard the position by the APNU AFC. You also heard the position by the People's National Congress Reform. Just Tuesday of this week, we had during our press conference, we would have made it absolutely clear that I think it's about 6 pointers we would have highlighted. And though we are not in favor of what is happening, because our position is that you must have house to house registration to ensure that the voters list is clean, because the voters list is a major problem. We all are aware what transpired in March of 2020. You had a voters list of 660,000 names on that list. 660,000. Now you have, you know, new persons will now be registering. So I guess that figure will now go up. So with a house registration, it allows for those persons who are currently not in Guyana, not resident in Guyana, for their names to be, expunged from the list. And also for those persons who might have passed on or transitioned into the other life, for their names too to be expunged from the list. But I must reiterate the position, of the People's National Congress Reform and also the APNU, AFC, or the coalition. We have said quite clearly that house to house registration must be a must. But what is currently happening with the continuous registration, we have, started to encourage persons to go out and get registered, right? So I trust that I've made myself clear, and I, guess for future programs, or programs that like these, we will continue to educate and enlighten you and to remind you about, the continuous registration and all that is required. And um, as I'm on this, for those persons who are living, whether in Ling Avenue, in East Rumveld, West Rumveld, wherever in that area, and you're having difficulty, you don't have a birth certificate, we have the PNC office just between on Front Road between Trench Road and Pineapple Street. There you can come and we can assist you. I usually be there, and if persons need assistance, I have absolutely no difficulty in guiding you through the steps and helping you to complete the entire process. Or you can take the office number 225-9200, 225-9200. I usually be there from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to about 5 p.m. But I will not be there tomorrow, right? So even if you want to reach out to me, feel free to, hit me a line or two on Facebook, and I can guide you accordingly. So that being said, moving on, I also want to remind you, my brothers and sisters, COVID-19 is very much alive in this nation. COVID-19 ain't gone nowhere. So I see people navigating around this place as though COVID is free. Getting is free of COVID. But that ain't true. COVID is still live and live in this nation. But the onus is on us as individuals to be responsible because we have an irresponsible government. People who can't manage, people who perhaps don't know where their head is from their shoulders, people who are incompetent, people who are inept. They're all misfits and they're not getting it right. They haven't got it right since 2020 after being installed in government. The figure today for the death alone, the number of cases to date, 63,090. 63,090. When they took office, it was 474 cases. Now it is 63,090 cases here in Guyana. The death toll now stands at 1,224. These are not my figures. The figures are there. 1,224. When they took office on the 2nd of August, not when they were installed on August 2nd, 2020, the number of deaths was just 21. 2-1. Now the figure stands at 1,224. So my brothers and sisters, all that we will continue to say to you is to exercise care and caution. Wear your mask, continue to wash your hands regularly, or in some cases, you sanitize it regularly, and maintain your 6 feet apart. COVID is real. It ain't got face, it ain't got race, it ain't got age, it ain't got, it is REAL. So I want to encourage all of us to exercise care and caution. So just before I invite my guest in, I must, let you know that there are many issues facing us as Guyanese. The cost of living is high. And as I'm on that, I must let you know that emotion standing in my name is before the National Assembly to deal with the high cost of living. And I think on my next program, I will share the substance in what the motion is seeking to address. So for next week's program, I will share, what the content of that motion speaks to. The high cost of living continues to affect Guyanese. And we know that the People's National Congress reform some weeks ago issued through its press statement, um, you know, not only issue but also made, sound proposals and recommendations how this installed regime should be able to deal with the high cost of living here in Guyana. But you think they care? They don't care. They don't care, Guyanese. They have no interest in ensuring your lives are better. They have no interest in ensuring that your health is taken care of. They have no interest in ensuring that you are protected from the hands of banditry. They have no interest in ensuring that our roadways, our public offices, whether schools, the working environment, and all the other areas that we will congregate for public services are properly secured or safe for you, the end users. No, they have no such interest. So I'm saying to you, just today, we saw what transpired in region number 6, and my guest and I, we will be, discussing that with the rice farmers. The sugar industry, we got issues. The housing industry and housing, I got a lot to say about housing because the corruption stinks at housing. And who suffers? It's the poor class of people. So all that you're hearing about 50,000 house lots, it will not be a reality. And I will show you how. And I will tell you how in a subsequent program. But all of these things that we continue to hear being parroted by this government, it is not in the interest of Guyanese. But it is in the interest of their friends, their cronies, and their cabals. Because hotels wouldn't be able to transform your life. Building of, as I said, big hotels and all the fancy things that they're speaking about will not transform your life. There are what the government should be doing is to sit with stakeholders because we recognize that they ain't got the depth. They don't have the capacity to deal with issues in a prioritized way. And they need help, but they're ashamed to ask us in the opposition because we know how to fix it. If it took us less than 5 years to transform the infrastructure in this nation, it tells you the type of persons you had governing this nation. If we had the issues of electricity solved to some extent between 2015 and 2020, what does that say? The APNU, we got the playbook and we know how to fix things in this country. If we could have moved the old age pension from 13,000 to 20,500 when we left office, what does that say? We improved public servant salary from 39,000 for something was the minimum wage. When we left government, it was $70,000. What does that tell you? So the APNU AFC, we have the medicine. We have the solution to fix the problems in this country. But the issues, they're magnanimous. But, you know, as time progresses and in other future programs, we will continue to dissect and flesh out and show you what we would have inherited as a coalition government, how we were able to remedy the problems and where we are post August 2nd, 2020. It's no longer progressing. We have already retrogressed. And not one step backwards, many steps backwards. Our country is in chaos. Our country is in serious, serious trouble. But I know we have prayer warriors who continue to pray for the hands of God to move across this nation, and He will. So I will now make way for our guest, but before doing so, I would like for the operator for us to play the intro, and then I will come in back and bring my guest in for this evening's program.
Let's welcome our host for It Is What It Is, Annette Ferguson.
Thank you, viewers, for your patience and welcome back to the program. It is what it is. Well, this evening, my topic or our topic will be it's on the screen there, Region 6 in crisis. Region 6 in crisis. And to lead us in the discussion, I don't think he's, much of a stranger to some of us or many of us. Um, his name is no other than Kirk Fraser, out from region number 6, East Quarantine, Berbice, a teacher by profession, a community worker, a counselor there at the New Amsterdam municipality. Um, municipality, and he's also party regional chairman, party in the sense of the People's National Congress Reform, regional chairman for region number 6. Viewers, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Mr. Kirk Fraser.
Hi, good night, Annette, and good night to your viewers.
A pleasant evening to you, Mr. Kirk. How are you?
Well, I'm not doing so well. When my people are
Mm-hmm.
suffering, it brings great discomfort to me as,
Uh-huh.
as, as a person who interacts with the people on a daily basis. So,
Uh-huh.
as you would have said earlier, Region 6 is in really crisis, is in a real crisis.
Yes, yes. Well, even before I give you the floor to, probably give a brief intro of yourself, let me take this opportunity in welcoming you to my program. It is what it is. I guess you're familiar with Across the Waves. So I've actually rebranded the program. So the new name for the program now, it is what it is with Annette. So I want to welcome you to this program. I trust it wouldn't be your first appearance here. You're always welcome to be here so that we can continue highlighting some of the issues in your region. So, Mr. Fraser, I will ask of you to give us a brief, background of who Mr. Fraser is.
Okay, well, I am Kirk Fraser. I am a teacher by profession. I am in the teaching service for the last 29 years. Since I would have
Wow.
concluded secondary education, my head teacher at the time said to me that, you need to give back some service to your school. And as a result of that, I entered into the teaching profession. Today, I am a teacher at Borbies High School, a graduate senior master, um, just doing what I enjoy doing, which is teaching, which I have made my career for the last 29 years.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I am happy that you have chosen the teaching profession as your career path, because this particular profession always attract the female gender. So it is good when we can have the male gender being a part of the profession, because you help to aid the women in bringing certain discipline to the students, whether students or pupils, more so the male students and pupils. So I want to thank you for your 29 years of service to the teaching profession, and I trust that you will continue to serve with great and high distinction. Well, apart from your profession, Kirk, I know that you're involved in community work. You're also a counselor there at the New Amsterdam municipality. So perhaps you can, in a minute or two, or a minute and a half to two, you can share with us, what you have been doing outside of your profession.
Well, and basically, in my community, I was given the opportunity to serve at the local level in
Mhm.
2016 when the then coalition government was elected. You know that there was an absence of the local government system for over 20 years. And as a result of the coalition government in 2016, I was elected a councillor at the municipality of New Amsterdam, which I find very interesting, and I feel very comfortable in providing the necessary service and leadership to the town of New Amsterdam. Borbies is termed the ancient county, and the municipality of New Amsterdam is the oldest municipality throughout Guyana. So I find it a privilege serving the citizens of New Amsterdam, and by extension, the entire region number six, which I would normally do community work across the length
Oh.
and breadth of Region 6, from Siparuta all the way to Mara on the east bank.
Wow, wow. But I know, Kirk, though you are a counselor, and New Amsterdam being the town, I'm fully aware that counselors would have like a specific concern constituency assigned to them. So, you can share with our listeners and viewers where your boundary lies there in region number 6. Though I know from time to time you would
Well,
go out, outside of your boundary to give support to other counselors, but specifically to you, where does your boundary begins and where it ends?
well, basically, I operate from the northern end of the tongue. That is the
Mm-hmm.
canal that is between Ryman Observing and Smithfield, from
Mm-hmm.
Ryman Observing all the way to 49 Stanley Tongue, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, and that is on the eastern half of the tongue. That is
Eastern.
constituency 3, in which
Mm-hmm.
I am a part of. But outside of that, my task is wide and varied because I don't see myself having boundaries in the tongue
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
the demand for my service is momentous.
Wow, I know. And Kirk, as a local representative working on the ground, I guess engaging with your constituents, I know that a number of reports, a number of complaints, a number of challenges that the constituencies face. I know for a fact that they would from time to time report such to you. So can you say to us what are some of the problems faced by your constituents? And how were you able
Yes,
to have these issues addressed?
well, Annette, as you know, when we were in government, we had challenges, but those challenges were overcame. We overcame those challenges as a result of direct support from the government of the
Yes.
day, as a result of us making the necessary representation. There was issue in terms of water, supply of water, in terms of garbage disposal, in terms of infrastructure, roads, bridges, etc. We had those challenges. We were able to overcome those challenges as a result of the support of the government of the day in New Amsterdam per se. We were able to get areas that were completely neglected. I'm going to tell you completely neglected in a wide scale. For example, there is a community by the name of Angais Avenue.
Oh yes.
That community house a large portion of our population, but was completely neglected by the PPP government in its 20 odd years in government. When we came into government, the government, we were able to, because I can recall a man invited me to the community, and it was Christmas time. And when I went into the community, mud was reaching me all the way to my knee. And I
Wow.
am 6'3", 6 feet 3 inches person. So you can tell the level of mud and the discomfort that those persons were experiencing in those communities. And right away, I was able to get on to Minister Bulkan at the time, who was responsible for communities, and he would have made lots of investment in that community. Persons would have thanked us because all the main streets leading to the community, we had them done with asphalt concrete, and even some of the minor roads. They also experienced the problem of water supply, and we were able to get the then CEO of Gaiwo, Comrade Richard Van West Charles, to ensure that the entire area, I could remember persons visiting the areas, and persons have to dig a hole, and they have to put the bucket in the hole just to get water. And children had to be attending school. They had to wake up very early to fetch water and all of that. And we were able to put in a complete water network in that area, that people receive water on the upper flat of their building. You know, so
Yes.
the entire area saw a renewed energy. It looked like a brand new area. So persons in those areas were very, very thankful for what the coalition government would have done in terms of making them or improving their standard of living in those communities.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Well, we must give kudos to the coalition government. And what I do recall, Kirk, is that in 2019, late 2019, the then government through the Central Housing and Planning Authority, we were able to distribute in excess of 200, I'm going to stress on the figure, 200 titles to residents who would have resided in the Angois Avenue for over 50 years. So 50 years after, these people actually were able to receive their titles, the ownership to the lands that they lived on for 50 years. It clearly was saying to us that the People's Progressive Party Civic was not a government for all Guyana. Now they're practicing and promoting this one Guyana. But we know that it is a farce. It is from it is far from what the one Guyana should look like, because every day, Kirk, we got reports. And I guess as a counselor, as a community worker, being on the ground, even as a teacher, parents, the people in your constituencies would have reported to you that one, many of them did not receive the 25,000 cash grant. Am I correct? Two,
Indeed.
two from the $10 billion that were given, that was actually approved in the National Assembly in 2021 as a supplementary provision. They came to the National Assembly saying that because of the flooding across the nation, that they were going from the $10 billion, farmers, whether cash crop farmers, poultry rearers, they were going to receive some amount of money. And we got reports that many people, and I know for a fact that even that in Region 6 too, you receive reports. Would you like to share quickly with us whether you're still receiving reports to that effect?
Annette, don't be fooled by the rhetoric or the narrative of the PPP, which state that there is a one Guyana concept that in which they are promoting. There is no one Guyana, there is two Guyana. There is one Guyana that they looks after, and the other Guyana is neglected. I would say this because of the reports that I received. And as you spoke about the cash grant and the flood relief, to date, in some communities, the community of Manchester, Liverpool, Lancaster, Eversham, Firish, Sanford, Lighton, those persons still to receive the grants or their flood relief. Baracaro is the worst because they did not even visit. Not one farmer in that community was a beneficiary of the money that was allocated for the relief of the farmers. The people in there are punishing as a result of that because they lose completely everything. I don't know if persons ever went to Baracaro, but Baracaro is a riverine community, and once there is heavy rainfall, that entire community goes down. So persons are in despair at this time, thinking as to how would they get things to restart their life. And as a result of that, no one would have ever visited representation was made at the region pertaining to these persons who did not receive. Nothing was done. The chairman said that they would have been carrying out an investigation for some corrupt practices. Well, we know before the investigation even started that nothing would have come out of it.
Exactly.
And as a result of that, people continue to suffer. It's very difficult. And why I said we are having a two Guyana, work are being completed in some communities, and some communities are neglected. Some of the community I highlighted, farmers are complaining about clogged canals, the access down to their farms and so on in need of repair and so on. Nothing is being done. Persons would have made representation at the regional level. Our councillors are making representation, but to no avail. Nothing is being done to help those persons. So that is why we're having a two Guyana. And I could remember former President David Granger said that we need to remove this two Guyana, and we have a Guyana which every person feel comfortable of living and striving to reach its true potential.
Exactly. Well said, Councillor Fraser. But I will say it boldly. If you don't want to put it boldly and you want to, color it and make it up, I wouldn't. These areas that you've alluded to, Firish, Manchester, Angois Avenue, Baracara, 99% of the population in these areas are Afro-Guyanese. They're Afro-Guyanese viewers and listeners, 99%. And it is, I don't know what word to use to describe this regime. They haven't changed from their old habits. And for me, all that I've seen thus far, what they have started and what they continue to do is to exercise some degree of vindictiveness, wickedness, being meted out to certain ethnicity here in Guyana. And that is why it is time for these communities to come together, speak out, and condemn the government for what they are doing. It is not right. Every Guyanese must be able to benefit from the patrimony of this nation. But you know what, Kirk? Time, I have about 9 minutes remaining on the program. And I want to get in a few images so that we can speak to it. I recall, and you alluded to earlier in your opening remarks, since 2016, you've seen the transformation in many constituencies there in region number 6. But what I recall in 2018, in 20, well, even before 2015, you would recall that the then opposition had moved a motion. I think it was Honorable Joseph Hammond, who had moved the motion calling for a reduction in the fares of the Berbice crossing. That motion was successfully passed in the National Assembly because we had the majority then. But you know what? The resolution was not signed on by the then President Ramatar, so that the necessary actions could have been taken. But when we went into government in 2015, we started the process, and people complained bitterly. The commuters, the minibus operators, they complained bitterly about the high rates that they were forced to pay. And what we did, because we lowered the rates, and we had the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, 2 brand new speedboats at the tune, because I was integrally involved in the whole process. And the operator will bring up the images where we had the commissioning of these 2 boats, Blessed 1 and Blessed 2, where commuters were using these vessels from regions 5 and 6, nurses, school students, workers. This is what has happened since the government changed. Correct? It cost the coalition government $20 million because each vessel was $10 million Guyana dollars. $20 million to get these boats up and running without any and everybody was happy. When the PPP came in 2020, this is what they've done. They pulled those boats, they got them parked up somewhere, but you're the better person to speak to it. So I'll invite you to take the floor.
Yes, Annette. Soon as the government get into power, I don't think it was 3 days after, but those boats were pulled from the water and placed on the New Amsterdam stelling, which create hardship for the persons from Region 5 who work and who attend school in Region 6. Quite recently, I think it was yesterday morning, as a student came in at 10:15. When I asked the child, what is the reason for her being so late? The child said, sir, the bridge was closed and we had to wait until the bridge was open. The alternative that they had was taken away by the PPP in order to satisfy the persons who own the bridge. So as a result of that, you find that it's very difficult. It's very costly for those persons who live in West Berbice to get to work in New Amsterdam, because the minibus the fare is very high and exorbitant. And when you check it, if you check $300 a day or $600 a day times 5, 6 5 is 30. You understand me? How much money would they have to dispose on the other areas of life that they have to tend to in the absent outside of the transportation costs? So it's burdensome again. We find that some children are probably don't even come to school as a result of them not having the passage to reach the school. I can recall that boat, I think it was $60 the students used to pay. You know, and they were able to get off the boat, get to school on time, get back home on time. Now it's very hard, it's difficult times. Parents are reeling. We know everything in the supermarket is up. The cost of living is sky high. So I find it very difficult. I feel saddened for my people because of what is going on. These policies that these people implement is more or less to cripple the ordinary people and allow the rich people to get away with all the money and everything that benefits them. The ordinary people are suffering. Some days person call me or text me to tell me, sir, I need some help. I don't have rice, I don't have this, I don't have that. But I'm a teacher, only a teacher. But when I can assist, I assist. But it's very difficult for people, ordinary Guyanese, to survive in this country.
I know. Thank you very much for the update, Councillor Fraser. So they both
I,
they still remain, not in use on
yeah,
the
they're still on the
they're still
site.
in there at the
But
moment.
I would like I
So
would
the
like to,
yes, Councillor Kirk, you can continue.
yes, Annette, we have a difficulty in this region. There are a number of irregularities that are going on in this region. There are a number of projects that are being stymied that the government would have
Yes.
inherited from the coalition government. For example,
Mhm.
our government, when we were in office, had recognized that the maternity ward at the New Amsterdam Hospital was too small to accommodate the number of persons giving birth to children at the hospital. Our government was able to
Yes.
ink a contract and build a new building that would house 112 patients at one time. I talking about pregnant women. That project was completed
Yes.
since 2019, and to date, nothing.
Wow.
It is left there. It's not, persons are not utilizing it, and persons are having the same problems at the New Amsterdam Hospital because of cramped conditions in the small maternity ward. I see this as total wickedness, and I see this as a means of not trying to make persons' life better as a result of these actions. If we should go to Burnham Park, another project
Yeah,
whereby,
Bruno.
yes,
Mhm.
we having the construction of a synthetic track there. That is limping along the way. Nothing much is being done. And I'm saying if taxpayers' money is being used to do these projects, they should be fully implemented. They should be completed so that we can develop our human resource. I don't know, when we don't have these things, our children, our sportsmen and women have to go overseas. We will make effort. Why can't we not use wisdom to ensure that these projects are completed so that the people of this country can benefit? If the
Yes.
people money is being spent, it's not the PPP money is being spent. They're
Yes.
behaving like to complete the project is the PPP money. It's not the PPP money, it's our money, it's taxpayers' money. But I believe because it wasn't their concept, they want to
Yes.
show that the project would fail. But what I know for sure, that we will be taking some action shortly to force the government to complete those projects. that they left incomplete.
Well, thank you very much, Councillor Fraser, and I'm happy that you and also, with your colleagues and the people there in the region take the appropriate actions, call out the government, stand up and demand that these projects be completed in good stead. Because as you rightfully put, at the end of it is the taxpayers' money that are funding these projects. And by right, taxpayers must see, they would want to see the end of these projects so that they can commence using these projects, these amenities. And as you rightfully put, once it is not theirs, this is what they continue to do: abandon everything. We've seen what they've done with the David G. buses. We saw what they've done with the David G. boats, and it's sad. It is very, very sad. And I can point to other projects that they have, on the back burner. At the end of the day, who suffers? It is the taxpayers. But you know what? Time has caught up on us.
But just let me make this last point.
Yes.
East Bank of Borby.
And you can also wrap up, when you finish making that point.
The East Bank of Borbis, from a village called Cadbrat. I've never had potable water.
Wow.
We would have included that area from Cadbrat all the way to Platank, all the way to Mara to have potable water. Persons would have never experienced potable water coming to the residence for the entire lifetime. Persons are 80 something and I've never experienced that. We would have put that in place. We also tried to do the electrification program from Cadbrat all the way to Platanco. And these are mixed community, and we would have the phase in which we would have completed those projects. It still remain the same. Persons are 80 something and never had electricity in Lightong. Those projects are abundant. The infrastructure is there, the post is there, the wires are there, but the connection from the post to the residents are totally absent. It is abundant. Imagine you're doing your own people like this. Huh? You gotta be a tyrant to behave like this. And then we speak about and we spew the Guyana, the one Guyana, the one
Con-
Guyana thing concept or whatever they want to call it. But I see
Mhm.
it as a myth. I see it as downright farce. I see it as not more but mere talks because all the
Mhm.
policies emanating from the government show that there is a two Guyana, and we need to enlighten people. Don't bother with this foolishness that they coming wrong spewing. There is two Guyana,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And in
Yeah.
my wrapping up statement, I would like to see, and I know that the best choice for Guyana moving forward is the coalition, the APNU AFT government. Without them, I think Guyanese are bound to doom in this country. As one of them would have said, persons would have to run. We've already seen the nurses from the New Amsterdam hospital, all the staff nurse, they're out in their
Mhm.
numbers. The hospital is being managed by persons, the wards are being managed by persons who are not even qualified to manage those wards. So
Wow.
I would implore on my Guyanese brothers and sisters to ensure that they go out, the children, those who would attain the age of 18, to ensure that they register so that we can get rid of this tyranny of a
Mhm.
government that we
Mhm.
are experiencing today.
Yes. Thank you very much, Counselor Fraser. I think you have said a mouthful, and I cannot disagree with you. Indeed, we are seeing two Guyanas. Indeed, the best choice for Guyana is the coalition. And it is sad to see the attrition of our well qualified people. This is not looking or sounding good for our nation, because the wealth of our nation depends on the health of our nation. And if our people continue, to leave for greater pastures, it is the ordinary people who are suffering. My dear comrade, you will agree with me that you ought to bring him back. You will agree with me that we must have a part two, of to expose the crisis there in region number 6. I want to thank my guest because time has caught up on us. So, Kirk, I want to thank you very, very much for being with me for taking, your time out from your busy schedule in joining me here on It Is What It Is, to bring enlightenment and to educate and also to expose to our people what this tyranny of a government is doing to us as a people and to our nation by extent. Councillor Fraser, it is time. I trust you will join your voice with me to say to Guyanese, to call upon them to join in unity, because in unity there is strength to say that we had enough. Enough is enough with this wicked and vindictive cabal. Once again, thank you for being here with me. I also want to thank our viewers, and I do look forward to them joining us next week for another program of It Is What It Is. May God richly bless us. May God richly bless our beautiful nation, Guyana. Thank you very much.
Let's welcome our host for